Good morning, everyone. This is February 21st, 2021, and this is the Zoom meeting of the Fellowship of Spirit in Farmington, New Mexico. And my name is Ron Holloway, and I want to welcome you on behalf of Fellowship, everyone here. We accept you in love exactly as you are today without having to change or do anything or believe anything that we might even tell you here is not necessary. We just love you as you are, and we're glad that you're here. We have an exciting program today, international in flavor, as some of us are. You know, we have Ian, who is a friend of our friend Susan Barnes, who is in Belize, and he is standing by and is ready to give us a good message today. So Jerry, do we have any announcements that we need to make at the beginning of the meeting?
No, I don't think so. Thank you, though.
Oh, okay.
We're still thinking on a yard sale, either the 1st of April or the 1st of May, but that's a month away, so.
Yeah. Okay, let me see who was here. You know what I neglected to do was to get someone to do the opening prayer. Cynthia, are you available? She's there. She is. I see her, but I don't see her smiling face. She usually can do one out of her heart.
I'm here.
Would you like to pray for us?
I would love to.
Thank you.
All right. Dear Father, Mother God, beloved presence of the infinite light and love, clear all our resistance to our acceptance of the divine inspiration, guidance, intuition, and grace, and our development of our inner potential. Thank you for this. We are so grateful to be together, and in Christ's consciousness, so mote it be. Amen.
Thank you. So mote it be. All right. Neva, do you have the reading ready today? I forgot to ask you. Can't hear you.
Yes.
You got it? Okay. All right. Well, we'll be with you in just a moment. So, Fred, we want to sing us a song, an opening song. Thank you. Go ahead.
I will try. I'm going to see if I can share this screen, see if it works. Never tried this, so see what happens. Oh, you've got it disabled. You'd have to enable screen sharing, Ron. See if I can put the song up here.
Share screen. Okay, you can do it now. I got it enabled.
Okay. Let's see. Can you see it? There it is. Share that. And can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Right on. So we'll just try something easy. This came from that old book. Remember this book? Wings of Song.
Well, when we see the song, we don't see you, Fred.
Oh, you don't see me. Okay,
No.
well, at least you see the song. So it came from that song and that book. We haven't played this song. Well, I haven't played it in a long time. So let me see if I can do this. We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness is of our own making. We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness is for the taking. Well, our world goes past as we talk and walk along each day. Our world can be a heaven or hell. Our attitude will say, we make our own world wherever Let's make it happy. Let's live in beauty. We make our own world wherever we are. Keep thinking happy. We make our own world. One more time. We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness is of our own making. We make our own world wherever we are. Our happiness then is for the taking. Well, our world goes with us as we talk and walk along each day. Our work can be a heaven or hell. Our attitudes will say we make our own world wherever we are. Let's make it happy. Let's live in beauty. We make our own world wherever we are. Let's make it happy. We make our own world.
All right. Thank you, Fred.
You're welcome.
Now, I misspoke. I guess on the side, the way that I do my screen is I make it in speaker view where I'm seeing the big screen, but your little square was on the side, so people could see you and see the song. So it was good. Thank you. Yeah, we were able to transfer a bunch of those songs over to Fred the other day, and now he's able to get them up and we could share them with everyone. So that's great. Thank you, Fred. All right, Neva has our spiritual reading for the day, and so go ahead and take it away, Neva.
Dawn's unmuting me. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay this time?
Yeah, a little louder wouldn't hurt.
Okay, I'll try. I'm reading this morning from a book by Gerald Jampolsky, Love is Letting Go of Fear. And this is a chapter on seeing things differently. The title is I Am Determined to See Things Differently. The world we see that seems so insane may be the result of a belief system that isn't working. The belief system holds that the fearful past will extend into a fearful future, making the past and the future one. It is our memory of fear and pain that makes us feel so vulnerable. It is this feeling of vulnerability that makes us want to control and predict the future at all costs. I would like to present a personal example, and this is Jampolsky talking. I was reared in a family where a fearful attitude always seemed to prevail. I bought into a philosophy that said, the past is awful, the moment is horrendous, and the next moment is going to be worse. And of course, we were all correct in our predictions since we shared the same assumptions. Our old belief system assumes that anger occurs because we have been attacked. It also assumes that counterattack is justified in return, and that we are responsible for protecting ourselves, but are not responsible for the need to do so. If we are willing, it is possible to change our belief system. However, to do so, we must take a new look at every one of our cherished assumptions and values from the past. This means letting go of any investment in holding on to fear, anger, guilt, or pain. It means letting the past slip away, and with it, all the fears from the past that we keep extending into the present and future. I am determined to see things differently means that we are truly willing to get rid of the past and future in order to experience now as it really is. Most of my life, I have acted as if I were a robot, responding to what other people said or did. Now I recognize that my responses are determined only by the decisions I make. I claim my freedom by exercising the power of my decision to see people and events with love instead of fear. And at the end of the article here, whenever you feel tempted today to see through the eyes of fear, repeat to yourself with determination, I am not a robot. I am free. I am determined to see things differently. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Neva. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Goes right along with our readings in Sunday school, our readings on Course Mary. It's amazing how every week that there seems to be coordination between our lessons that we learn in our book studies, our spiritual readings, our songs, and our message from whoever is giving us they all seem to be coordinated. They are not coordinated by us, but they are coordinated by the Holy Spirit, by God, because we don't do it, but the messages have a ring to them that is always wonderful. Yeah. Linda, did you have something you wanted to say? No? Okay. Our speaker today hails from Belize. And tell me if I get this terribly wrong. Spanish is not even my second or third language, but Ian Alberto Glory Lizarraca, is that close? He was an only child, and he was born in Mexico on February 19th, 1970. As an infant, Alberto moved to Corozal, Belize. At 12, he discovered he was a part of a much bigger family and has met about a dozen of his brothers and sisters, with still about a dozen and a half to meet. At the tender age, the only thing that he could think about was his day he could become a doctor and save lives. But his destiny was already written. Unfortunately, at the young age of 17, Ian's parents became ill, and he was forced to work in the family-owned supermarket and to provide for them. Ian became dedicated to a life of service and still continues to this day. He became one of only two people to receive international delegate status with the IFRC, which is the International Federation of Red Cross. His last mission being in Haiti. And that trip to Haiti had a strong influence on his life. He survived attempted kidnappings, and he was tested to the capacity of both physical and mental. He helped to served as a Red Cross delegate there to help with the strife and the conflicts that happen in those places. Ian earned an associate's degree in business, and he owns a nightclub there in Belize. He also served in the military under the Mexican flag, for he still holds double nationality. And he also became a policeman in 2003. He became part of the special constables of the Belize police force, and he is still today works to do that. He loves to travel. He's a true romantic, and he has had the opportunity to know his country, Belize, and all of the other countries around there where he lives in the Caribbean. Hence his reason for being here today. For under the same concept as our ancestors who believed that it takes a village to grow a child, He believes it is the responsibility of each villager to take care, guide, teach, and share his knowledge in order to prosper individually and collectively. It is not about the material riches. It is about being bountiful in friends and family, virtuous and spiritual. It is all about earning love and respect. It is about being remembered. Long live our God-given right of freedom. We have a choice. Let us choose to live, love, and grow as one family, humanity above all. So let us welcome Ian.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, sir. Okay, do I begin?
Just begin. Yes, begin.
All right, thank you. All right, well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate, Susan, this opportunity that you have given me. And of course, I know Jerry, I love seeing her again. And I love the opportunity to be able to share some of my points of view. Of course, the points of view that I will share with you is not only my own, but a collection of thoughts that reflect my belief. Others before me with much stronger convictions have left nearly everything written, and it's only unto us to follow that path and take over from where they left. I would like to start my talk today with a word from Ecclesiastes 3, and we read, "There is a time for everything. Everything has its opportune moment. There is a time for all that is done under the heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and a time to reap, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to destroy and a time to build, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to jump for joy, a time to scatter stones and a time to collect them, a time to embrace and a time to say goodbye, a time to try and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." This called to me, although the redundancy, because I believe that we had never been challenged through the history of humanity as we are now, with all the occurrences that are happening and the challenges that we're facing. These events that have occurred in recent days have had me taking the time to reflect on the issue, and a particular issue as such of leadership. And that's the name of my paper that I wrote. It's about leadership. I took the time because I wanted to identify myself. I was doing a small analysis and see how I can become a better leader, and see where, if I had failed any, and where I could just grow a bit more. Because I believe that the things that are happening nowadays, everybody seems to be planting fear. And I think that we will never grow truly as human beings if we are we let go to this fear. It talks about a time to give up. But I don't think that people are interpreting the way they're supposed to. And they're people that are really giving up. People that are being traumatized by the idea of everything that is happening around, and that are starting to live more in fear more than anything. And I believe that it is not a time to give up now. It is a time to develop our leaders. It is a time to stand together. It is a time to face the challenges that we have, and we have to make ourselves better. It is important to be a very strong person, because we never know who all our subordinates are and who all are looking up to us. We have grandchildren, we have children, we have neighbors, we have people that look up to us. And if we cower, they all will as well. Therefore, then it referred to a time to follow and a time to lead. There's a time to learn and a time to teach. However, to really learn, teaching has to echo within us. We need to believe what we want. It's like a job that if we do not enjoy our work, we will never become good at it. And if we do not believe in what we're talking about, we will never truly learn. And if we don't truly learn, we will never be to share and to teach. We must take the time that is required to truly look, to listen, to analyze, to research, to test. And after we're sure of everything that we have, we must take the time to apply, to truly practice that we preach. I have seen a lot of congregations and a lot of groups that speak beautiful, the most wonderful words that they can, and they can quote a lot of the Bible and everything, but then they preach one thing and they practice another. Do as I say, not as I do. And maybe some of us has also fallen in that group of people, but I think nowadays we have to take a different approach. We must submit to the state where partiality does not apply, where our consciousness and mentality are open to different possibilities, different concepts. We must become as sponges that absorb all the shared wisdom that is around us. The time will come to evaluate and accumulate this wisdom and make right decisions based on our acquired insight and ideals. The information is around us. It is how we hold it, how we use it, how we interpret it, and how we apply it. The most important tool in our arsenal as a true leader is for us to be able to transmit the message that we believe in. We need to believe in what we speak. How many people do we know that speak beautiful and afterwards they're arrested because of the same things they speak against? What we promote, we must be able to stand by and defend. It must become part of our ideals and convictions, but it also has to transmit the ability of reasoning. People nowadays would follow anybody who speaks nicely, and that is dangerous. That is dangerous. A person once told me, the proof is in the pudding. You know what? A leader doesn't have it that easy. It's not about just the proof. It's about selling an idea, something that is not always tangible. It is like a leader has to sell a dream. I know when you say about a dream, you talk of Mandela. I have a dream. And he was able to sell his dream and he was able to accomplish it. How nice it is for him. But furthermore, it is making sure that people believe what you're selling. And it's something that is not, like I said, sorry for the redundancy, it is not tangible. It is like selling life insurance. How do you convince someone to buy insurance that he will never collect? How do you convince someone to pay for an insurance the rest of their life for something that he will never reap? You do so by applying and establishing hope for the future because, again, of our subordinates. Because he sells us the idea, he sells us the dream that we will be able to take care of our loved ones even when we are no longer around. And that is what we like, because we can see each of ourselves taking care of our family, even if we're not around. Even if the day comes that they need us, and that day we cannot be there, but our support will always be, because we will continue to live through this ideology, through this hope, and through them, through our children. That is what people buy. So a leader has to be able to sell that idea. The only thing that a leader has to be careful, though, is that he does not promise what he cannot commit. Because we fall into that idea that when we start to sell dreams, it's easier said than done. So we have to promise our followers that they believe that we will do everything in our power that is required for the best possible outcome. And if they believe in us, we do not have to rely on false promises. What is required is a balance. It's not about, and the balance has to be something that is born within us. It's not about sacrificing 1,000 to save one, or sacrificing one person to save 1,000. It's not about the sacrifice of the masses to acquire an ultimate goal. It's about the right thing to do. Again, my issue with this is that the right thing to do, when you're talking about the right thing to do, you have to consider the legality of it. Because when we talk of these items, we have to consider and know that what is right is not always legal. And what is justice, man-made justice, is not always just. And justice itself may not be legal. Again, balance. Balance of knowledge, balance of power, balance of what is just and what is legal. It's about doing the right thing for the right thing's sake. Even if you end up one day standing alone, because a leader is not afraid to be alone, is not afraid to be alone because of his convictions. A leader is a person that has vision. He is able to dream, to imagine. He's able to look in the future, always keeping in mind past experiences and applying the same from the perspective of the lessons learned. Because we do not live in the past, but we cannot forget the past. We must learn from it and move on so that we don't stumble again in the same mistakes that we have done. And of course, being a leader. Who is a leader? The leader will be that person that is the greatest follower. A leader is a guide. It's a shoulder to lean on. He's a confidant as well as a teacher. He or she is the hand that will put you up when you're down. And if the day comes that he is down, he will not occupy himself in getting up first, but most likely in pushing you up. Then he will worry about himself. A true leader makes you a better person, shares his knowledge, and teaches you how to apply the same. Yet also make sure that you understand that all decisions taken has consequences. Consequences of actions and decisions, but also of consequences of ignoring subjects that are not, when you're not taking that action. A true leader is not only the one that finds how you apply yourself better, but he knows and teaches you to improve yourself. He's not he who finds where you can serve. He will always be there, but he will always find how to serve you. It's not about assigning how you can serve him, but how he can serve you. because he truly understands that meaning of service, that meaning of sacrifice. Giving people your leftovers, giving people your small change. You meet someone in the street and you said, oh yeah, he needs money. Well, let me take out for my food. Let me take out for my grandchildren's candy. Let me take out for even my beer. Let me take out for my extra Coke and my cigarettes. Okay, well then I have a $2 left over. Let me give him that $2. That is not sacrifice. That is not service. That is you trying to buy the idea of service, trying to make yourself feel good. And a leader will point this out to you. A leader will be honest with you and forthcoming. Many know the phrase, knowledge is power. Of course, like any other subject, knowledge and power come with the consequences. Power and knowledge are synonymous with that of a leader. What most don't understand is that being a leader comes with the ultimate load of responsibility. People love the idea of the name of leadership and beautiful names that you can add on to your name to say who you are, but they do not understand the load, the responsibility that comes with those names. Many assume and like the ideology of becoming that leader. But have we truly understood the level of commitment that it carries? The hours of sleepless nights, of preparing, and I'm sure Ron will understand this, that, and most of you will, you meet every week for 1 hour and you share all your knowledge and everything that you have. But do you come here at 11 or at whatsoever local time you have for 1 hour without preparing? Or this small preparation for sharing this information for 1 hour takes you 4, 5, 6 hours of preparing, or maybe even not counting the days that you think about that. That's what makes you a leader, that you're always considering and thinking ahead. It's not only about having knowledge. Knowledge is something dangerous. Too much knowledge can even be agony. Knowledge is a burden that requires a quality of person that cannot be taught. One that requires a level of development and skill, of morals and commitment, of having character, of having a vision, of being well attached to your own faith, to your own ideals. Power, if not handled right, can be very dangerous. Power can corrupt. And of course, there we get that phrase that says, absolute power, absolutely corrupt. Hence, you have to know and practice moderation. You have to be able, as a leader, to master restraint. We must make sure that as a leader, we include our subordinates in everything we do, that we promote free will, that we promote honesty, morals, and that we promote what is just. And we promote what is just, even if it's above justice. Therefore, my recommendations and my point of view of what qualities are required by a true leader is that if your followers suffer a storm, suffer with them. You must learn that it is very different to command than to lead. The main requirement to be a leader is that you love your subordinates and that you know them. And you can only know others by knowing yourself first. Never seek prestige from your superiors. Always do so from your subordinates. Don't worry about those higher, oh, good job, and sacrifice the ones on the bottom for you only to be told that. Always consider those that you're doing this service for. This is a natural disposition that, as I said before, cannot be bought or taught. It must come naturally. Remember that the subordinates that are at your service, they are not at your service, but rather that they, together with you, are to serve a noble and superior cause. Be it the nation, be it your church, be it your organization. As a leader, you have the responsibility to teach, and then to teach, and then to teach, and then to never stop teaching. It is a state of mind. It is a calling. Lead by personal example. Always be the first to do everything. Make sure that you push yourself to your limit. Sleep, eat, have fun, and suffer, but always with your subaltern. Do not ask people to do things that you yourself are not willing to do. Remember that it is more difficult to drag than to give a little push. The one thing in the degree and authority that your superiors have conferred on you, and quite another, is the moral authority and respect that you must earn from your subordinates. That is why there must be an environment that promotes a level of tolerance, an environment of respect and acceptance. Again, we a lot of times fail because we seem to tolerate ideas, to seem to be able to promote inclusion. This will always have consequences. If the idea is not something that you can actually accept, do not tolerate it. There's big difference between tolerance and acceptance. Ask your people for their opinion, and you will make them feel important.
You got muted. You muted.
Sorry about that. You will always have the responsibility to decide, but don't do so before listening to your subordinates. You will also understand their true nature. You will have greater knowledge of your subordinates, and you will be able to make better decisions, taking pride. And this pride can only be received or taken by you based on your level of humility. There's one word that a leader will always avoid, and that word is arrogance. When you think of arrogance, you think of people showing their true colors, violent through the use of words. And sometimes as a leader, you may need to sanction them. And it's okay to sanction them to teach a purpose, but not for retaliation, not for revenge. Remember that as you move up, you strive to maintain contact with those that stay in the lower levels. It may be difficult for you to do so, yet you must strive to achieve. Do not look down on anyone, not because they are lower in the hierarchy or they are inferior, maybe in your point of mind if you're judgmental, rather than when we look down on a brother. It must be to hold them up and to help them rise to your level, or even to push them up higher than you. There's nothing wrong with it. We have a huge challenge in my country that no one can prosper, because if anybody starts becoming a better person, all of those around them will turn against him. They do not want anyone to be better than them. And what they do not realize is that by holding down a person, you're holding down yourself. As strange as it may seem, keep in mind that it is more difficult to be brave in peacetime than in war. You are to defend your people regardless of the condition that they are in, when they deserve it, even if it means your own life. Keep in mind that Not everyone is equally strong physically, mentally, or spiritually. You have to learn to love everyone, not ignoring their defects, but always supporting them and helping them to overcome the egos. And of course, as church-bearing people, when we talk about the egos, we know we're referring of the cardinal sins and all of the above. The challenges faced by a leader are infinite when dealing with people who come from different backgrounds, social levels, education, and ideologies. If one is fortunate, there will already be a link that unites them, which must be identified and developed. One has to understand that life, with all its challenges, is like a good book, which does not allow a bad chapter to ruin the whole story. A leader knows each of his subordinates and supports them in any way possible and never accepts that they fall. Failure is not an option. A leader does not accept his subordinates to allow themselves to be defeated by their fears. Parents instill values in us. Leaders know how to promote these values. They help us to face our fears, defeat and overcome these challenges so that we become stronger, better people. A leader not only creates followers, but partners while developing future leaders. Never compare one person to another, as you should not with your own children. Since there is no comparison between the sun and the moon, each of them will shine in its own time. Respect individuality and promote unity and equality without allowing authority to be undermined. If one day a bullet puts you down and those who succeed you take your spirit and continue to fight to fulfill the same mission, you have managed to be a true leader. The only measure of a leader is based on the impact created over time. The true leader leaves his legacy in history, well carved and marked. Life teaches us as we must give back to be a leader and a true teacher, one who has fulfilled his purpose to teach, to guide, to serve, to shine the light for all, as he has nothing more than a collective reflection of his own subordinates. One of the most dangerous subjects to touch on the leadership is that from a political perspective. People look up to our government elected representative as leaders, and by tradition, these are expected to make promises, some which are beyond their own ability, as mentioned before. This can cause a serious dilemma, for although these people are elected by the mass majority to represent us, these are chosen for their supposed ability to defend our social standpoint and interests. Even as religious leaders that may preach what their flocks want to hear in order not to lose their contribution, there is another underlying interest: false leaders, false prophets. And these are more appealing because most persons cannot handle criticism. You offend them for just challenging their ideas and their egos. For this reason, from my standpoint, what is important at this time and age is not to create laws, but it is more important to awaken consciousness. Yet again, the challenge here is about when persons proceed presently with this theme, they do so basing themselves by the fastest method of creating fear. As we see with the current theme of the supposed COVID-19, I believe we awaken consciousness along with the reintegration of basic ideology of morals, respect, and love, and we practice what we preach. We would gain a lot more ground by doing so, not only facing this challenge, but those that plague us within our societies, because it is not about tolerating, again, as I said before, but of truly accepting and embracing everyone's belief. That is the job of a leader, regardless of his subordinates, The leader would always promote inclusion. A leader will always promote unity and love. A leader is not a person that is absent of fear. A leader is a person that is able to take this fear and actually transform it into something positive. A leader is a person that guides you through the process of self-analysis. An example of what I'm saying here is the conducting of this meeting again. The role of a leader is to run a good meeting with a special technique. But he has to make sure that he is nor domineering nor dismissive, but following a particular approach. It's a relationship between the ultimate goal and the best result possible for everyone concerned. So as a conclusion, I just want to read this small little phrase to highlight the ideology of all of us becoming true leaders. Leadership is responsibility. Leadership is belief. It is love. It is compassion. It's compromise. It's guiding, but also following. Leadership is understanding. It's inclusion and acceptance. It's sacrifice. Leadership is about being a better person, a better neighbor, a better son or daughter, a better brother or sister, a better father or mother. Leadership, though, it is not about making yourself better, but of making those around you as good or better than you are. A leader will guide you by doing all along your side, the planting and the reaping, the killing of your old self and the rebirth of your new self, assisting in building you up. He will be there for you suffering during the suffering times and during the celebration time. And what you need to constantly remember is that a leader, if you really and truly want to see a leader, just look in a mirror, because I'm sure that that leader is you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. Very, very good words and very wise talk. We appreciate it. You know, we are a society. Our church is our fellowship made up of all leaders, because we're all parents, have businesses, we are members of other organizations. So every single person that I can think of today has a leadership role, and we appreciate your guidance and your reminding us of what true leadership really is. And your words about balance are so important, because I believe that only in balance is clarity possible. And without clarity, we're just wandering around in a cloud. We may be doing more harm than we would want to do good. So balance is so important. Thank you so much. At this time, you've never been here before, but we like to open it up to anyone who would like to comment on your talk or to ask you a question. So if that's all right with you, that's what we'll do.
I concur with everything that Ron said about your talk. It reminds us of our balance in our jobs that we do, but it also reminds us not to shirk from it too, that by instilling the desire to help other people, we help them up as well as ourselves. And so thank you very much. That was a wonderful talk.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Ian, it sounds like you have been reading out of the books of a guy that I have been following for the last 4 or 5 years. That's written 82 books. He's 72 years or 74 years old right now, and is in the process of transforming countries by going to the young people. 82 books of saying the same thing that he put into a pretty good synopsis in it. And it's so true. It's all about valuing people, seeing the best in people, and loving unconditionally. That puts it down and on. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, Bob, I could understand everything you said. That was wonderful.
Great, I'm glad.
You want to talk? Okay, thank you so much. That was great. We really enjoyed your talk, and it's a motivational talk that we needed. Comes in handy right now. Thank you.
I did a class this week. I was in a online 4-day conference, but I took a class on leadership and got a lot out of it. It was really great. But so just to add to everything you said, beautiful talk. Thank you very much. And right in flow with that. But the very first thing that says that you have to control your ego. We all have one, but it requires minute to minute monitoring when you're the leader, because our egos will switch so easily. I like the concept that also floated in there is always giving your team, subordinates, everyone around you, they're the first to get credit, but you're the first to take full responsibility when the buck stops at your desk. So you share the success and give it where it belongs in the masses, and the leader bears responsibility for those things that need to be refocused or redirected. And then just a few more things and then I'll be quiet, but it says a true leader says they stay coachable and open. They're willing to teach others, there you go, to do how to do something as well or better than they can. They're very people-based, as their primary focus is real people, not the monetary, earthly things. And they are willing to let their success be based on the success of others. So anyway, it was just a great end to a wonderful week that I had in this other class. So thank you very much. And I love divine order and synchronistic lifestyle. It works.
Thank you, Lily. Good words, good words. Anyone else? All right, we want to thank you once again, Ian, for coming to us, and we would like to invite you to come back and talk anytime that you have something that you would like to tell us. And I'm sure that Jerry is probably going to be contacting you and making that offer on a regular basis, because she's good at that. She's the one who I won't say coerces, but she's the one who actually finds our speakers. So thank you, Ian. Margaret, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to be sure Bob understood that his microphone was working really well.
It's all about learning IT.
Yeah, there you go. All right. All right. Well, okay. At this time, we will have another song from our brother Fred. Fred, give us a song.
Well, let's try this again.
You're still enabled.
All right. This is an easy one. I was thinking of actually changing the song up, but in light of the speech, but I figured, well, we'll just keep things as they are and keep it nice and easy.
It is.
I haven't been any technical glitches yet, so I think we're doing well. So
doing well.
So we'll sing this song. Another song from that little brown book, Wings of Song. So let's just do this here. Well, there is joy in my heart and a smile on my face, 'cause I love the world. There's a song on my lips of the whole human race, and I love the world. Feel my spirits are singing, feel happiness ringing like bells that are ringing on high. Love is here everywhere. Love is still in the air. And I love the world. And I love the world. There's a joy in my heart and a smile on my face, 'cause I love the world. There's a song on my lips, love the whole human race, and I love the world. Feel my spirits are singing, feel happiness ringing, like bells that are ringing on high. God is here everywhere, love is here in the air, and I love the world. I love the world. I love the world.
Thank you, Fred. All right. It was appropriate. You know, if a leader doesn't have joy in his heart, he can't share it with anyone, can he? So that was a very appropriate song, and we believe we love it. We love you. Hope you're still doing well. Your vision's getting better.
No, it's
It's not-
I got another surgery. They won't give me glasses until I get till I think the 1st of March, supposedly. So at least I can see out of this eye. And we're supposed to be scheduling the cataract surgery for this eye. So I don't know, sometime in March, I should be able to, maybe the end of March, I'll be able to see clearly again. So.
Yeah. Well, March is imminent. You know, we only have another week of this month left, so March is on us. So it won't be long,
Yes.
brother. It won't be long.
No, no.
Well, with that in mind, Fred is our speaker next week.
Yes, all right.
Yes, he is.
All right.
So we'll be looking forward to hearing you again.
Looking forward to it. You betcha.
And I'll be speaking on deprogramming fear. And
Oh,
Reprogramming fear. Okay.
deprogramming.
deprogramming.
E-program. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Overcoming fear. Overcoming fear. Yes. All right. That's great. As we all need that. That's the only way we can find love, is to rid ourselves of fear.
That's right. Neva was showing us her book on that.
Absolutely. That's what she was talking about today.
Yes.
And
Amen.
that's what our studies were about. It's about what I think a lot of that's what Ian's theme was about, that a leader, rather than being overcome by fear, they have fears, but they cannot be overwhelmed by them if they're going to lead in a positive manner. Is that correct, Ian? Yeah.
That is so right, Ron. Yes, it's not the absence of fear, is knowing how to deal with it and helping others to deal with it as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, that was mucho gusto, señor. Gracias por
Mucho.
todo.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias. Bienvenido sea usted. Bendiciones, hermano.
Gracias, hermano, usted. Hasta la próxima, eh? All right, guys.
All right.
I'm going to take Fred with me next time I go to Belize, so he can talk for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I'm
speak
into
the
that.
language. You speak the language.
You might be able to get the fruit that you really wanted. So,
Yeah.
all
There's a
right.
joke in there.
Well, I know that. Yes, I do have some humor, whether you realize it or not, about me. So,
I knew it was hiding in there somewhere.
all right. Are there any announcements? No announcements. Okay. We are financially solvent. We're doing fine, but we do still rely and appreciate your donation to the church. We still have some ongoing expenses, and but so far our expenses are outweighing, our donations are outweighing our expenses, and we're doing fairly well. But please still keep them coming as you can afford to. You might also consider those that may be having a hard time financially, and maybe give some of your tithe to them. It's an appropriate way to do things. Does anyone have a report on Reverend George?
No, I talked to him. I didn't talk to him, but I emailed him and got a response from him this week, and he did not indicate how he was doing. He did indicate, thank you all very much for our donation from fellowship to not to his PayPal account, but in the intent to his assistance for financial support. So he did thank us all very much for that. And if you choose to independently send to him, that would be nice also. Just go into PayPal under Reverend George Harris, and it's put on there by his son. I think his name is Travis, but I can't remember.
Okay. So you
Well,
can
actually,
two ways to do it. You can send it through GoFundMe, or you can send it to him directly. Either way.
Right.
Yeah, actually, we were out wandering the other day, and we went by to see him, and his son had actually stayed another week. And
Oh,
was
nice.
and was still there with him, and was actually in the process of sorting everything out because he was leaving that afternoon.
Oh.
But he was doing great. I mean, he's got him all lined out where all these pills and stuff are lined out so they don't forget him, all of that stuff. He's done a great job. You guys have really done well with the organization and stuff. And Reverend George is very lucky to have him to be able to do that. And of course, he has caregivers coming in, but he looks really good. And he's sounding good, upbeat, good. Sounds good.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear, because he's come through a difficult time, and it was struggling, and he laid away some of his weight and some of his strength, but his spirit stayed strong, and that's what it takes to overcome those physical situations. And as you well know, Bob, and you're a good example. You're a good example of that also. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to say at this time? Okay. Father, Mother God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come together. We thank you for our speaker today as he brought us a message of hope and enlightenment, and to remind us of the qualities that requires us to help our fellow human beings along this path, this journey that we are on, that you have given us to you. And we thank you for those reminders. We ask that you would protect us in this coming week, and that you would guide us in whatever is best for us and the people around us, that you would help us to not be overcome by fear, but be uplifted and enriched by love, your love. And we ask these things in the name of the Christ consciousness. Amen. So mote it be. All right. We thank you, everyone. If there is nothing else, I'm going to stop the recording and we can continue to talk.